I need to have that discussion with him. But Split is a map where we do tend to expect a slower pace than some of the other ones.
One of the cooler parts of this series is watching T1 mix up their roster and their roles. Of course, we've seen Breach for most of the start from aZK. He showed you Sage. He showed you all kinds of different positions. You saw Brax moving off of the Cypher, giving that back to crashies, something that we saw at the very start of Valorant for T1. What will they bring into this map? I want to see right away. It looks like we're going to see the attacking side. That'll be Envy. On defense, it is T1, and crashies again going to the Cypher, which means that Brax can again play Killjoy. Out of all the Killjoys yesterday, I think it's safe to say that Brax was playing her the best.
Yeah, it's no surprise as well. Brax is a really intelligent player, and he's someone that's extremely methodical and always is thinking about this, setting himself up, advantageously for the future. I wouldn't say that he's necessarily an impulsive player in any sense. Very much a methodical guy. So it's really cool to see that. It makes so much sense. And right off the bat, we're going to see that there will be a lot of presence towards B main coming in here from Envy on the attack. And you can see also that T1 are poised, that they are able to actually collapse on mid to actually challenge this one. They've got Raze there as well. The boom bot, the paint grenades are going to be really, really important in defending this. They just have to pick their moment. And you can see how slow this is from Envy. aZK, oh, there's that shot. He's dashing away, able to not survive for long enough, but the cages. We have the satchels coming out as well. It looks like T1 should be able to slow this one down, but there's some great ground gained already by Envy.
Food just guessed the wrong corner with the blast pack and did minimal damage. Doesn't follow it up with the bomb bot. Instead, he's going to save that for a little bit later in the round. Brax all out of equipment's got to go to work with the Ghost. And he's going to find the first headshot before mummAy trades it out. And mummAy on the Jett, that is my favorite agent to watch him on. On the other side, aZK on Jett was struggling. Good to see him off to a first blood to kick things off here for T1. When it comes down to T1's defense, though, just 2 players on the retake. And they're going to have to get to 3 of these attackers that are now set up for post-plant.
Such a hard situation here for T1 on this retake. Although it is made slightly easier because it's a pistol, it feels like it might not be quite as bad as if it was a gun round. And we have that initial A heaven control. Calypso playing a very sneaky position here by Raze. Will actually be checked, and the jumping classic from Food will be able to deal with Calypso, evening up the numbers. And the health advantage is with T1 as they swing forwards now, making their way across. And we have now just FNS at the back of the site, and he's unable to do anything. crashies is going to be able to take down both players on the retake. That's a great retake.
That's incredible stuff. Food playing so aggressive on that. Raze jumps in with the right click, finishes off the player at ropes, and then you had FNS with another incredible camera. He has incredible placements of his cameras as Cypher on Envy there, but he was caught in the camera while crashies was already dishing out some damage. T1, they will win a much-needed pistol round. They will have the weapons and early control of this game, and we got to look at the round differential here, DDK. Your whole goal is to get Haven for map 3. We showed T1 struggling on Bind. Get past that map, lock up a good first performance. Even if you drop this map, hope that you win your map 2, and then you get the choice in map 3.
Yeah, we'll see, this eco round play out, and if you're T1, you've got to be really, really cautious that you don't give up any rounds like this. You want to play it efficiently, but you also don't want to play too scared. You don't want to give too much room for Envy to contact on top of you and use the number advantage that they are looking for. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. eeiu takes the initiative there, using the paranoia. Gets 2. That's a 2-for-1 early on. That is so important. Now T1 can start to play more defensively. And what a great fadeaway shot from Food, connecting straight into mummAy's head.
Well, movement, no problem. And also we want to point out aZK did not buy anything that round other than the Ghost. What does that tell you? He's going for the op here in round 3. And we'll see if he can put that sniper rifle to use. You can see it, the big boy toy in hands. And aZK, I was critical of his Jett yesterday. Just seems he's still playing it like his Sage, like the Sova in the past, where he doesn't back out right away using his movement abilities. We'll see if he's able to put that together. But a great round for T1. All the mid pressure instantly shut down in the first 40 seconds.
Yeah, it's good to see that eeiu, the stand-in effectively for the team. The player that doesn't have nearly as much experience compared to the rest of the members on the team is able to take the initiative. And speaking of which, aZK goes for that early op peak. Unfortunately for him, this round, mummAy actually decided that he would challenge that angle, gets a better timing to it. And they can slow things down. They can reset off of this position. And you can see that they're still spread out across the map, but mummAy's still creating a lot of pressure. And there's a smoke as well. This really feels like an A hit. And surely the rotation should come, and it's starting to.
Nanoswarm now gone. Brax running out of utility. Still has an alarm, but he's going to try and get it done, though, with the Phantom. There's the first 2 as Brax holds strong. And he is going to be able to make the call. There's still one lurking. aKis is going to find food, though, on the flank. So still a 3v2 an advantage of Envy. And they're going to take that spike and get out of A, making their way over to B as two players have already had the site on lockdown.
And yeah, that forward positioning for Envy, straight in the spawn, basically, is very, very dangerous to deal with. There's so much forward ground. Despite the great work of T1 to defend that, the great work from brax, it's going to be so difficult to make their way forwards. They'll have to try to get this kill into Calypso, but they will actually circumvent his position for now. But Calypso has so much information that spawn is clear, that all eyes on B Heaven for the rest of the team. You can see this setup between the rafters and the hell position, between Finesse and aKis. Very, very strong spots to play from, and it doesn't really feel like there's many options here. There goes the dark cover, but not too much to be done. Again, very strong setup. Envy will close the round down, and this is a taste, I think, of things to come. Chris, I mean, we saw that Envy, I don't think they intended to go all the way into A, but they were just playing off of the picks. They were still spread across the map, and those picks gave them the ability to shut down the rotation coming out of B as a response.
I like that Food trying to get aggressive, and you have to think how different this round would have been if he picked up that kill. Instead, aKis, who switched from the Killjoy back to his Sage for Envy today, gets a crucial kill and frees them up over at B. Let's take a look here at the start for T1. They are going to buy up with a double judge, 3 players on light armor. They're going to have minimal items in their kit, but Food in a crucial position. Can he get an opening pick? He's got the Phantom and all of his utility.
It's pretty cool that we saw that jump peek from Food. He's baiting so that they don't expect aZK to be here, but they've actually read that aZK is sitting in that spot. Perhaps they've seen that bait set up before, and that's not going to work out. So aZK is going to have to reset with this judge. Very unfortunate. It's a great small win early on here, and the wall going up towards ropes again creates a lot of pressure here for the defenders as their rotation time is now enormously extended.
They got a camera up in the ropes room. Wall protecting them as well. aZK, he was pushed out a little bit earlier, down to just 35 HP, and he is surviving with great cover from Food. That grenade is going to push all the attackers back. And this will buy T1 even more time. aZK still holding this tight corner, though. And it could be devastating if the judge makes instant impact with a face.
And this is really good work here from T1. They slowed down that mail push, denied it, forcing Envy to have to make a mid-round call here as to how they can adjust. And they're going to reset things, just wait a lot of time, keep their opposition guessing, and then they move forwards. But there it is, the judge, aZK ready and waiting, so patient the whole time, using that one-way cage to his advantage. crashies will shut down the push from B main. Oh, how have T1 not lost a single player? That is remarkable.
How did crashies get that free kill from Calypso with no bullets being traded back? FNS did not react in time, and crashies is going to move up to his 5th kill in this game, 1 away from his ultimate. As you take a look across the board, the Jett ultimate is available for Envy here. They will be able to buy up, so maybe that'll be saved for the next round, but I wouldn't be surprised with mummAy unable to afford the operator. Maybe he just comes charging out of the gates, entering round number 5. aZK survives early, the judge does its job, and crashies shuts down the last player as Calypso is going to be closed out on B. T1, great job bouncing back. It was a very needed buy, and they make the shot. He's got to work.
And we're going to have an aggressive play coming in from T1 here towards B main. There's the dash from aZK straight out there with the Phantom. They blow up the boom bot. It's very aggressive, taking control of the ultimate orb and also getting a pick very early on. Now they can reset themselves, just fall back into defensive positions. Here's a reaction, though, from Envy. They lose the play. They know they have to move quickly. They saw 3 towards B main. They take very fast position towards ropes to try to attack into A Heaven.
FNS is such a good in-game leader. Calypso reacting, grabs the spike, and instantly on the rotation. But eeiu with another 2K as the rest of the team chimes in at A Heaven. They again go flawless in back-to-back rounds. T1, a little rebirth here, Dan. Maybe your prediction's not so off now.
They look pretty good. And actually, one detail I wanted to bring up, especially as we have a moment here, is a couple rounds ago when we saw, aZK with the judge able to defend with the help of Food towards B Heaven. That round was also won because of the fact that they had a cam set up in ropes, which basically forced Envy to have to go to B. So T1 are really doing an amazing job at just crossing off the T's, dotting the I's, making sure that they're doing their due diligence and always have information as best as they can. And Envy, they're on the eco now. So last time this didn't go too well. We had 5 survive from T1. Let's see if T1 can repeat the performance.
Envy's been struggling to make their way up top of B outside of the pistol round. And if you look over at the A site, well, Killjoy has it locked down by herself. There's also a tripwire set up as crashies is going to lend Brax a little bit of help, but they're expecting the B lane once again, and that seems to be the plan for Envy. First, though, they need mid control, and you got eeiu waiting around the right corner. Meanwhile, 2 players waiting at the top of the stairs. It'd be main. Here's a look at eeiu with the paranoia setting up. Will Food follow up on this push?
This is exactly what he did last time. The paranoia surely is going to come through, and it is an absolute massacre in mid. There's no survivors. Oh dear, the only player lost for T1 is courtesy of Food. Thank you very much, Food. With the satchel, just really wanted that kill, man.
Yeah, but give the other enemy team 300 credits. Not happening.
But one very quick detail, if Envy find themselves on an eco again, that is exactly the same setup that T1 had both times in mid. So that's something that Envy can think about the next time they find themselves, heaven forbid, in an eco scenario.
Let's take a look at the attacking setup. Again, it's going to be 3 players towards the mid, but mummAy leaning at A. Last time, he ran directly into AZK, got the opening pick, and Envy wins the round. This time around, it looks like they're backing down. And it will be some mid action instead. Will there be any peaks? T1 has been so quiet, but here comes Food. Launching out with the double blast packs, misses the rocket, and no damage is taken. So Envy, they dodge a bullet, and they land one of their own as mummAy finds AZK.
This is a really interesting switch-up because Brax is now also playing B, and he's anchoring that site instead of A. They're mixing up the Cypher and the Killjoy. They try to force the play towards the Killjoy with that aggressive, Raze ults there, the rocket coming out towards A. But with that pick in mid, it gives Envy a lot of options to not have to, conform to what their opponents want from them. And instead, they're working on that ropes control, and they have the ability to now contact into the A heaven position. There's only Food up there, and with that sound cue, Food is going to realize now he's going to turn around. This is a huge duel. He has to win this one, but he won't. Kaboose takes the entry, and now the A side is up for grabs.
I want to see, was eeiu going to use his teleporter, just walk this one. crashies with the longest flank ever. Finally comes in after a minute of looping around the back. Only gets 1 kill out of it, though. Brax finding Calypso on the drop down to B. That's going to make this a 2-on-3. A winnable round here for T1. They just have to stall out for 26 seconds.
Oh, perfect paranoia, but unfortunately he will get taken down by Kaboose. And the spike will be planted. A 1 against 3 for Brax. He's good. He's good, Puckett. But is he this good?
Is his ult good enough? This is what we're going to find out from Killjoy. Just how good is her lockdown on retake scenarios when you are down 2 players? Brax in the 1v3 might just try and get it done with raw gun skill instead, as he knows he is up against some insurmountable odds, and aKis will shut it down. A second round for Envy. Attackers definitely not favored on this map. It's Envy's map pick. They expected a strong defensive side, but T1 has to be happy with 5 after the first 7 rounds.
And another quick detail as well, which I'm loving from T1. After they took that aggressive A control, we said that it will encourage Envy to go towards B, which was the whole plan, why Brax rotated over there. But also what they did was, with having Cypher on A, they put a deep cam towards the attacker's side of spawn on A, which means that they can then rotate their defense towards mid and B. That didn't work out for T1, but we have to pay attention to these ideas that they're showing us, as we now see that paranoia opening up towards this top of A ramp position to allow some early control for Envy.
Dark cover is going to block the sights of eeiu, which is actually going to force them back into A heaven, it looks like, and that is exactly where the attackers are heading. Will anyone go up the ramp to challenge, or are they all taking low ground? Kaboose going for the turret. They've spotted that from Brax multiple rounds now. And Brax, for the first time, is playing deep on sign. I don't think they're going to be expecting him to peek out, and he is going to let his teammates make the noise. eeiu making first contact. Brax still found in the corner as Kaboose and Calypso just run their way through the site. Taking a little bit too long.
Yeah, very unfortunate there for Brax. The question is a retake on the cards here for T1? With that whip, maybe so. mummAy will be able to get out of that position with the dash, and he will try to control A ramp for as long as possible. That operator is really such a dangerous presence, but he didn't anticipate that there would be a gap for crashies, and now there's a real chance here, especially after the neural theft. We'll have to see if aKis will be able to hold this position down by himself. The paranoia out for the assistance, and there's the rocket from Kaboose also to just delay the efforts even further, and here goes the commitment, and it doesn't appear to be working out for T1, just leaving AZK. But with that operator, it is indeed going to be a save.
4,500 credits. You only had 700 in the bank. aZK, smart play to stay alive here as Jett. T1 giving up back-to-back rounds, but still in a position to do damage here with the remaining rounds in their first half of defense. aZK going to be a crucial player on this Jett. Will he be able to get some early damage done? As it looks like mummAy will continue to snipe here for Team Envy. Could this be a heavy B lane at the start? We've only seen one real attempt through B main, and that was shut down by aZK, I believe, in the 5th round.
Yeah, I love that we see Envy switching to a contact style in that last round after some of the defaulting that really caught T1 off guard pretty badly. And you know, we could start to see them just going for more contact-oriented plays to try to also punish T1 if they were to make an aggression in B main. There's just more than enough to defend that, and T1 have shown that they are willing to throw in those aggressions. We've only seen one B main aggression and one A ramp aggression from T1 so far. Now they're going back to more of their standard setup, and the pressure there is certainly going to be felt, but there's no pressure anywhere else on the map as far as T1 are concerned. So they're just happy to sit pretty. We can see the switch up in Killjoy's turret placement in ropes as well as the alarm bot. So constantly we're seeing the mix-up behind T1 setup as now Envy come in for that delayed mid-take and mid-pressure to force the action. Yeah,
and eeiu and crashies swapping positions. Normally it's going to be crashies playing deep on B. eeiu starts in that position as brax takes over rope room. mummAy waiting for the clear and now waiting for a peek. Is crashies going to turn the corner? He's been aggressive in the past, but not in this position. 40 seconds left. You know the hit is going to come in from Envy. They've got to make a move to a bomb site. And here comes Food. First pick. aKis goes down. crashies is there to trade out 2 more, and instantly 3 drop. The push coming out of B main, though, but in a 2v4 with 24 seconds left, this is going to be a tough fight here for Envy's FNS and Calypso.
The trades continue here. Oh, Finesse finds brax.
1v1.
Unexpected. And now it is indeed up to 1v1. 10 seconds to get the spike in to get onto the plant. There's just nothing that can be done there for Finesse. aZK will finish it off. And what a beautiful setup there from, again, we have to credit T1. They're playing the info game super well, and they keep switching up their setup. We saw that turret that gave them the warning as Envy started to come up towards B main. We see crashies in this position where he's relying on eeiu to hold down B main so that he can have this aggressive off angle so that when they swing deep to take down Food towards B stairs, then crashies can get an easy 2k. It's just a beautiful attention to detail coming in from T1's defense so far.
Food, an unsung hero as well, is able to get those first bloods using his equipment to force players back, or at least stall anytime they're trying to move up these B stairs. Keep your eyes on the green Raze. On the other side, we're looking for an early pick, and there are 3 ultimates available, including a res. Bomb buddies out. They know exactly Food is back up at the top of the stairs. And they haven't really made a fast transition through the rope room. There's always a lot of equipment, either from the Cypher or from the Killjoy. brax is trying to hold that down currently.
So much tension in this top mid position at the moment. T1 have been playing this game really effectively, and brax, oh my god, how is he still alive? It feels like everybody's sort of connected. He tries to double back and see what he can do. He gets 2 out of that. That's fantastic. It forces aZK to pull out the knives to hold on to this position on Heaven. And now it's a 3 versus 4 for Envy. They've got 40 seconds to play with, and they feel forced to go towards B Heaven here, but there's 2 players on the side.
I like that decision by eeiu to cancel his ultimate. He was going to teleport to support. Instead, gets the info and goes right back to B, knowing a rotation is likely coming in. eeiu is just going to hold strong, as you're going to see the first pick again. It's Food up top. eeiu chimes in with a second, and all of a sudden, it is just Finesse left alive in the 1 versus 3. Already picked up 1, but that'll be it as crashies comes around the back, gets the stab, and a 7th round for T1.
I know this is the defense on split for T1, but I absolutely love how they're using Cypher's cameras and how they're using it aggressively. Sometimes they're using it to be able to like take position, drop a camera there, cheat players elsewhere. I love how well brax is playing in general, but specifically also with the Killjoy, and how they're using the utility to change up every single round. And Envy never quite know what they're running into. They never quite know how they're going to be giving their information away to T1, and that's just been fantastic to watch.
brax has been holding on to his ultimate for the last 4 rounds. Will he let it fly here, knowing that there's just 2 left in the half? Pistol round action coming in for the attackers. Envy going for 1 last save. Not expecting any miracles here, but maybe they'll get one as mummAy pulls out the frenzy. It's food with another heady.
And this is it. Three out of 3 times. eeiu on the anti-eco, sitting in ropes with the paranoia, ready to just blast it down mid as his teammates take contact from the male peak, which typically comes first because you can't peek this position eeiu's in without going deep enough that you would be seen from the male spot. So that's why this setup works. Oh, camera in. Oh, it will get destroyed. We also had the camera destroyed in B main just earlier as well. So this is such a tough spot for Envy, Puckett. They've not had any success in these rounds, and they're going to just reset back into a B main hit.
Pistol, light armor, if any armor at all. And a bit of a dream. Cypher Cage, of course, is waiting for them on the exit of B main. And crashies is going to see it coming. 3 players spotted. You can assume more. All 5 are going to try and make the push as kaboose trades out with the Sheriff. And Food still holding strong. Rocket comes out. That's just buying more time. Denies the plant. And it's Calypso, last man standing as Food finds his 3rd. It will be the 8th round for T1, and they could make it a 9-3 half. A phenomenal start to an elimination match that everyone thought they'd be heavy underdogs outside of you and Potter.
Yeah, Potter said no doubt. She used no doubt when she said when she was describing her feelings about T1 and their chances here, and I really appreciate that because I think we're starting to see that. Again, it's the defense. We've got that Killjoy pickup. I don't think that the Killjoy will be as useful on the offense, but so long as they can get an enormous amount of rounds, which they are so far doing, they're good to go. And we're not seeing a huge change here from them. And we get a B main aggression from Envy just to take presence there to force the maybe some extra utility to be expended to defend this. And mummAy's also looking for that pick. So
look at this map, Dan. So much equipment over at A. crashies the lone hero at B, and he's used his tripwires in mid. So it looks like T1 ready for any action over on the right side of that mini-map. Meanwhile, it is Food who is going to be able to pick up another pick in the mid. Kaboose is down, but a Raze is available, and you see that Sage floating in the middle of the map. I would expect him to try and get all 5 members up alive.
Oh, what a punish there. crashies trying to walk through his own cage. And that was a pretty intelligent play, but it was a risky one. That does drop things down for T1 to a 3 versus 4. So Food is now thinking about getting aggressive with brax, possibly. That's a nice shot, but he can't reset after that one. We'll get traded immediately, and now it's up to brax for those multi-kills. We know that he's good for it. He hears the sound cues. There's just the jiggle. brax takes one down, but where is mummAy's teammates? The bomb is making its way towards the A site. They know the rotations happen, but look at all this gear. This is what you're talking about, Puckett. They're moving straight into it.
Alarm bots, tripwires, nano swarm, all waiting for you, and still a turret is going to be shooting Calypso in the back. He is going to be dropped down to 93 health and a little bit of armor being removed, but Calypso finding brax, almost had both of them lined up there, down to 1 bullet. We'll see. Will the Jett be able to clutch as Calypso is trying to get aggro, and he is not going to get a chance. Not enough time for this plant. Or will he? Just in time. The timer expires, and it's T1 getting their 9th round.
Oh my god, that's so insane.
Right. So close.
Yeah, what a way to finish things off with the Killjoy ult versus the Omen TP. What a great half of Valorant there on defense of split from T1. They made things so difficult for Envy. I'm really impressed by T1, but the question is, can Envy do the same? Envy do not have the Killjoy. The difference is that they have the Sage instead. So will this Sage offer them as much utility? We'll have to find out.
Very impressed with brax's abilities to pick up double kills in the crucial rounds. crashies was a monster in the first half at 12 and 6. And Food, well, there's no one better to back you up with the way he was playing at the top of B. But now even more pressure on his shoulders because you got a Cypher and a Killjoy. Not the best heroes for the attack. So that's going to put a lot of effort behind AZK, and of course, the Raze coming out of Food. aKis with the Sage Wall didn't use his res at all in the first half. I want to see that used a little bit more on the defensive end. It's a bit easier, but also will he be able to hold mid strong just like T1 did all of their first half?
Yeah, I'm really liking the control, the deep control that crashies has at the top of the A ramp position. It really creates a lot of opportunities for his teammates also if they want to go through ropes or if he himself wants to clear it from heaven if he's able to get that position. So the Boombot there to help clear position towards B Heaven and just create this pressure. And again, they can go back to A Heaven. I think that's what they're going to try to do here, unless they get some easy kills. But they're going to go straight for the setup, and it's not going to work out super well for T1 here. AZK will get one frag in return, but it's looking rather labored. They're going to abort, and indeed, they're going to use crashies here. His forward position on A Heaven gives them that plan B.
crashies is hunting. He's seen FNS. FNS in his camera just spots the push. And of course, he is going to hear that. No support yet, though, as mummAy is still around the corner, and a trade goes down. eeiu now on site with AZK. The spike will be planted. mummAy trying to break in. They weren't expecting them to be there already. Another kill is going to land, so it's a 2v1 for Envy on the retake.
Oof, that paranoia. It's all up to eeiu. Can't quite find the second target in time. Oh, Envy have to be so happy that they were able to pick up the pistol in a situation like this.
Had a nice start, and then it all slowed down over at B. It got a little sloppy towards the end, but it's going to be kaboose finishing strong, and Envy wins a much-needed pistol. That will keep T1 with just pistols coming into this next round. And I like Envy's initial push. Lots of damage. Bomb Buddy is going to stall out anyone below the ropes, and then big attacking plays from aKis, just doing the pistol work on Sage. The rotation went down, and that worked out as well. We'll see what the plan is from this Envy squad, as it was an early threat from T1 previously, but I like to see what Envy is doing here.
We've got the shorty on AZK, so we might have the dash-up drafts coming through at some point. Actually, they're going to just walk behind this dark cover. Oh, there's the trip catching one. There is the updraft 2 dash. Getting some control of the high ground there. Although great fragging coming through from Envy, just connecting with all of their shots.
Ooh.
Speaking of which, brax is always good for a headshot or two, as it appears. And now we get into the real Valorant. The gun rounds coming up next.
Did anyone buy an SMG from Envy in that last round? Or are we all going to see Phantoms? Because I believe that was a ghost round out of almost everybody. And as I say, it was 2 Spectres in the feed. Ignore me. So, of course, it's going to be T1 with the better weapons. But Envy on defense, one of the most defense-favored maps throughout Valorant history, even after some of the changes.
And we have that op versus op battle. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what mummAy is going to be up to. We can see he's towards that A-ramp position. Pretty standard spot to play the the opening with your operator conservatively. Gets rid of the camera, and that's always nice. And also, they're exchanging cam kills. And it looks like kaboose is going to be able to find the kill onto eeiu there in middle. I think that was over the wall.
crashies fearless as he finds 2. What a play from the Cypher from T1. This opens up everything at A, and he's looking for a third. He knows the opponent is around the corner, shoots the boom bot, but not enough. Finishes off kaboose. crashies can't ask for a better start.
I was so smart to tap the boom bot to make it make the opponent think that he can swing onto him shooting the boom bot. So smart. What a player crashies is. AZK will be trying to find his way up here, and he finds an unawares aKis, and that might just be the start that they needed, because now it's all on Calypso to try to hold this one down for Envy. It's going to be very, very difficult to get back in now by himself. Has the paranoia, has all the teleports available, another dark cover as well. So there's a lot of utility to play with. Lands that paranoia, that's beautiful. That's going to cause some problems. Calypso, can he win the 1v1 that he may be offered up here? Dark cover there, you can see they're denying it to him. brax played it perfectly, and there we go. T1 hold on to it, and they get an early round on their attack.
I got to credit brax, because his teammate was not in a position to trade it out if brax misses the shots and gets punished. Instead, playing that dark cover, timing perfectly before the bubble lands. brax is able to get off one shot, but it all starts right here. Charging through cages, crashies, a double headshot, and then, as you said, tickles the boom bot. Make sure he can reline with the headshot on kaboose. 3 kills instantly for a Cypher on the attack. If you're getting crashies plays like this, T1 definitely a favorite to steal Envy's map here on Split.
And one thing to note is we see that T1, they put the turret up outside of B main, so that will catch anybody flanking through B main later, which indicates to us they're thinking about this being an A pressure round ultimately. However, that's a great way to start things off. They keep Envy honest, they destroy the wall immediately, they get the pick in middle, and this is, oh man, and mummAy goes down as well. He tried to take a peek there towards the A-ramp position. This is not working out. Envy are trying to find a response bucket, but it's just not going their way.
Don't look at crashies. It's just a bad idea.
He's so good.
They got the information. The neural theft being used by the Cypher. And you can see one round away before the showstopper comes out. Potentially a rocket available. Finesse is going to be found on the flank. crashies just knows where you're at all times. eeiu continues to impress here on Split. A totally different day for T1. And this Omen is really showing up strong.
Yeah, I totally agree. The roles that he's been put in are maybe more basic than some of his teammates, but I think that's that's what's so beautiful about Omen as well, is you can kind of stick him places by himself, super versatile, and you can call for global smokes wherever you want. Like it's pretty easy to on the fly, I think, integrate an Omen versus, let's say, something that's more complicated like a Killjoy, for example. You're never going to just jump on a Killjoy if you're just jumping into a new team. But T1 are looking extremely good right now. I'm so impressed.
And I have to say, aZK is playing his operator role like I'm used to. He isn't trying to get that first pick that you often see from Wardell, you see from Hyun, a lot of the other top Jetts in North America. Instead, he kind of holds the hard angle, and his teammates have been baiting for him perfectly, at least in that last round in mid. We'll see if he gets help from crashies over at the A site. mummAy with the spray will finally get a first blood for Envy. 3 ults still available as well, as your green team is trying to work their way back.
That was a really important pick on the crashies, because you don't know if it's just crashies. There's so many times he just makes it up by himself, or there could be a bunch more players behind him. So they decide not to push their luck towards A. They're rotating back into a B play. They know Omen's already on B with that operator, so that's something that they're going to have to know how to deal with. They do, of course, have a lot of smokes to work from. They've got the dark cover, they've got the cloud burst as well, and they've got food pressuring in middle as well, trying to keep attention of the rotator, B rotator in mid, but they're not falling for it, especially now that the Killjoy ult goes down. Envy know exactly what's going on.
kaboose finds the attempt from eeiu and stops it immediately, but the information has been gathered. 3 players trying to push through B main, and they are running out of time for T1. 25 seconds left, and operator is going to say no to B main, and this could just be a save. Or will there be a last-ditch effort? It looks like yes. Let's keep our guns. Let's stay alive for the next one. Envy didn't drop a single player in a nearly flawless defensive round that all started with mummAy in a spray over at A.
Yeah, and we can see here the problem with that Killjoy ultimate that you put in that spot in B main is that it always leaves the back of the B site clear. And so there's this gap. We saw that kaboose was standing there with the Raze, with all of the delay you could possibly want. Didn't even use the rocket. Had really great presence of mind to know that he could even wait until he's throwing the paint bombs to delay them. And we already saw that, I think pretty early on, food went down as the mid pressure player. They really needed that utility from him to clear that backside. Otherwise, they could never push forward. So we could see that that was a desperate attempt. And now that Killjoy ult is not going to be in play for a while.
Calypso soloing over on the B site itself. 2 players pushed up towards mid on defenses. That'll be kaboose working alongside aKis. So Calypso could get his hands dirty early. Everyone checks this top left corner, but not before looking right and straight ahead, and Calypso's gonna find 2. The punish is there. Jett survived, but not for long, as Calypso finds a 3rd. T1's round is shut down.
Oh, that's so awesome. What a great defense. crashies will try to get something out of this, but he'll get shut down as well. I love that we actually see the contact through the B. I think that's a great idea from T1, because they haven't really been doing that too much. The only contact that we really saw was them trying to go towards the A site, but there's more utility. So this is a new look, but tapping the boombot from B heaven makes you absolutely look away as well from that elevated position from Calypso. So great setup there, and so simple. Envy, they're not done just yet.
Not done yet. You're at 11, T1. You can still buy up this round. Potentially a light buy next.
Oh
and
my
God.
God.
There is a super aggressive paranoia that lands. Unfortunately, the bullets don't finish him as brax survives. But early damage dealt by Envy as they get aggro on defense.
What a sick setup with the paranoia. mummAy, meanwhile, managed to get a pick there towards the A-ramp position, and they know that's going to be the lurk. You take down the Cypher there. He's been lurking every single round. It's always going to be crashies, and when they take that player down, you can see they have more confidence to just fall back, play more passively. They're not worried about that position. They just saw some B main presence as well. Usually a delayed mid take does happen after that action, so I think right now Envy know exactly what's coming.
kaboose waiting for him at the top of the stairs, but aZK is going to get dropped. Nice headshot to stop the operator player. And now aKis is chiming in as the Sage picks up one. Food is there to trade it out, but a dropping classic right click from mummAy will make this now a 3 versus 1. Last man standing is brax. And just 45 HP, he is in a tough position. T1 falls again as Envy looking very impressive in back-to-back defensive rounds.
Yeah, it's really difficult because I'm really thinking back to the round where, you know, we had the Killjoy ultimate used in a desperation 3v4 or 3v5 or whatever it was, where they didn't have everything they needed to clear the site correctly. And if they would have had it for that contact round to burst with it, that would, you know, stuff like, there's just more options that would have been afforded them to get at least that 12th round on the board, I would think. So double operator here for Calypso and mummAy. I think that's pretty damn scary. It's been working out nicely for them.
And the economy was able to work for T1. I wasn't sure if they'd get the operator in this round. They will. Just light armor on 2 of the players, though. So T1, not full utility kits. And 2 players without armor, but that is going to be good enough for a successful attack if they're able to get a first blood here. You know kaboose is at the top of the stairs. He's been there every round. The question is, where is the Sage placed? Last time she was in the room that everyone's looking at. This time playing a little deeper on B site alongside Calypso.
Yeah, Calypso at the start of the round actually fake TP'd into B main, which was heard, I think, by Food. And Food decided to back away. So they don't have that info. They could think that there's an Omen aggressively in that B main position. And they're all focusing through Mail here for a contact. This is going to be very scary. There goes the rocket. Oh, the timing is beautiful from kaboose. He's going to nail aZK.
aZK was lining up for a shot on aKis, almost able to hit the flick. Instead, doesn't pull the trigger, and he's punished. aKis now getting aggressive behind the blastback distraction. Unfortunately, only finds one before falling, and now it's Food's turn. Showstopper's out, but Calypso's not going to miss his shot.
This looks so desperate right now for T1. They're trying to force their way in, all 5 players through that male position. Desperation rotation again. I think just desperation is the operative term here for T1 as Calypso shuts them down. And it's starting to look reminiscent of how much trouble Envy had on their attacking side as well. Just this feeling of nowhere to go.
It was 9-3 at the half. T1 a fantastic defense. But now Envy showing you why this map is so defensive favored. Great rotations, nice trap setup. Finesse has not had an issue at all on the Cypher. Sitting at 11 and 14, has done a great job of locking down A. Not many attempts from T1 as they've been really focusing through mid and of course B main.
This could be a problem though. We're going to have a full setup going into the B main position. It looked like Calypso wanted to make a peek there with the operator. That could have gone really poorly for him, but he will back away and be safe. They've got the Raze playing close. They're going to go straight into that B bomb site, and there's Pistols trying to find their mark here. The Paranoia does a decent job, but it's still very labored here for the defense, and they were just not well set up for that 5-man explosion out of the B main position. And now, out of nowhere, T1 looked like they have a good chance to win this round.
And Calypso could have done so much damage if it wasn't for eeiu's counter Paranoia. Both Omens hitting each other. And that allowed brax and crew to break out onto site. Now they've stolen weapons, and they can use them against the 2 remaining players. You got Finesse working with mummAy. mummAy worried about someone flanking from mid. Finesse is going to check that before moving forward onto the site. They still got some time to work with, but 3 players to fight their way through. There's the first one. Now it's going to be everyone stacked on site. It's still 3 to go as Finesse falls. mummAy will be cut down as well, and a 12th round as T1 is on map point.
That was a great little setup right there at the end. I love even, you know, just having the, you know, throwing out the camera when you hear the sound cue that they're trying to close the distance, and they're forced to shoot the camera, and then in doing so, that weakens their ability to even take down any of the defending players there all around that spike. So T1, they pick up that much needed 12th round, so they're at least guaranteeing an overtime scenario. But they have to try to replicate that, and that wasn't, let's not forget, that was an eco. So we don't have this answer from them that's replicable on their gun rounds. That's the problem for them right now.
Keep your eyes on crashies. He has been key on the lurks. He's been playing A solo while the rest of the team groups up. This time crashies trying to go for a pick against mummAy's operator. And he's going to be sliding through some cages. Meanwhile, a lot of noise being made in the mid.
Oh, we get a dark cover on the turret there. And I wonder if T1 realize what's going on, because Calypso's gaining a lot of ground. That they're going to expect that the turret will provide them information, but right now we have the complete denial of that information as Calypso goes for the flank. It's just a matter of time. T1 have a small window of time where they have to break these positions before the flank comes in, and I don't know that they're going to be able to buy enough time here, because here comes Calypso straight from the back. Surprise with the operator. aZK at least will turn around to deal with that, but look at the chaos. What's left when the dust has settled? It's a 2 versus 2 here for T1 to try to scrabble together something with 40 seconds left.
I love watching Calypso on that Omen. So sneaky, played that one perfectly, as you said. A little bit of mind games blocking out the turret with the smoke. Taking a look at the numbers, it's still a 2v2. Mirror matchup going down. And it's going to be a split defense. Both players playing very deep as Finesse is tucked away in the corner on A side. It looks like that will be the targeted bomb site as Food and crashies will try and work their way in. And Finesse with a big opportunity here to hold strong, finds crashies, and Food now has Spike in hand, but 2 defenders and a camera to fight through.
Oh my goodness, Food's going to try to make his way forwards with the satchels. He has no idea. Finesse has completely duped him here. Still gets the kill, but there's no time to win the round. My God.
Food made that dangerous. Nice movement with the blast packs. And he just didn't have time to go for the plant and the kills. Tries to get the 2v1 clutch and instead only able to get 1 trade. Envy stays alive. Can we check in on the economy as well as the ults? Okay, so Calypso, aKis with a res, mummAy with the Blade Storm. On the other side, we got Brax there. eeiu and Food could potentially get their ultimates, but really this is going to come down to the guns, Dan.
Oh, completely. And I think from eeiu's perspective, playing the attacking side is going to be more difficult, slotting into a new team like this. But we will have mummAy there, just posted up, no fear at all. There was nothing to deny that peek at all from eeiu. There was a dry peek into middle, and then the wall goes up, and that's an unreturned, untradeable kill. Perfect way to start off if you're envious. And
I love the double op.
Yeah, it's working out really nicely for them, isn't it?
Yeah, when you got mummAy with the op rotating mid and A, and then Calypso, of course, able to watch B long with his. It is so difficult for T1 to break in at range with their current hero pool.
Well, T1 do have the Killjoy ultimate. We may see an A hit with that ultimate hit, though they are down to 4 players. Oh, mummAy connected with the legs there. aZK manages to take him down, and there it is. Popping the Killjoy ult to clear out the site. This has to be the rounds bucket. The Killjoy ult has to be the thing that facilitates a round for T1.
And this is one of my favorite locations of that ultimate. You can see on the minimap just how much of the site it takes up. Finesse had to rotate all the way back to screens, and Food is going to go hunting. 2 players giving up their position. He's able to punish both with the help of aZK, and T1 in a position to steal this map.
Down to a 2v2 though on the retake. That Spike freshly planted, the jiggle peeking there, the boombox going out to try to distract some fire from aZK. They know his position, but I'm not so sure that they're aware as to where Brax is positioned. They're on the site proper. They can probably have a guess, but there's so much utility that Brax has set up around the site, and that's going to be hugely impactful. aZK's gone down, and it's all up to the clutch man, Brax. This is what he does. This is who he is, and they line up for him, but it's not enough there. aKis is ready for it, and the Spike will be defused with plenty of time.
I did not expect the res coming in, but aKis goes out of his way. Instead of pinching from the opposite side, rotates back behind his teammate, gets a 3rd player up, and with Calypso back in the game, they're able to finish strong. Envy takes us to the distance. Will they be able to force OT? Kaboose, he is 1 orb away, or a kill away from a showstopper on the defensive end. And of course, we still have mummAy with the Blade Storms. If things get messy, up close and personal, op still in hand as well.
It's been really impressive that Envy have been holding so strong onto the B Heaven, and T1 have never really felt comfortable to go for any splits through the Rose position, and they just are constantly just bashing their head against the wall. And we have it set up into B main. 4 players here for T1. They have, of course, crashies creating presence, making it look like a default towards a ramp, but we have a more aggressive effort. Will T1 be able to catch anything off guard here? They do force out the paint bombs there as eeiu is able to complete his ultimate with that orb. We'll have to see if he's going to find a way to use that, because let's not forget, this is the last round. He may try to use that once they attack a position to distract the defenders.
Yeah, he's got no more armor after that grenade. Down to 66 HP and no Sage for T1. So pretty decent grenade coming in from Kaboose, doing enough. And we'll see what is the plan here from Food and crew. Food with Spike in hand is going to pass that one off to Brax. He wants to get aggressive. crashies and Food have been the stars, both sitting on 19 kills at this point.
Yeah, just resetting into this mid take is just so typical as to the mid rounds, but it's going to be that B split. Now, everything has to go perfectly here for T1 to make this one work. Calypso whiffs his first shot. There it is. That's the distraction we're talking about, but Calypso's teammates will be doing all the damage, holding off that B heaven position. They've been so good there. Impenetrable position as far as eeiu are concerned, but it's through B main that some success is found here by brax and eeiu, and finally crashies here as well with the late rotation up B heaven, able to make things work. eeiu will go down, the trays continue, crashies falls, and he gets taken out by mummAy, and it's happening, Puckett. Overtime. I didn't think eeiu could do it, but they have.
That was so messy, but they get the win. eeiu off to a hot start there, shutting down the early kills, but eeiu and Brax just come charging out of B main and land some headshots of their own. Went down to the 1v1 in a frenzy, not the ideal weapon, but if you're just joining us, guys, we're in overtime. How does it work now in Valorant? Well, we've got some updates recently, and you got to win basically back-to-back rounds, an attacking round and a defensive round. Everyone's going to start with $5,000, spend it how you want. And a lot of times you're going to see these operators, but if you go with the op, that means you don't have enough for a full armor buy. So limited utility kit for mummAy. He's going to go with the half armor. Same can be said on the opposite side.
We'll have to see if this deadlock will get broken here. I feel like the momentum has got to be with eeiu. We'll have to see, though, as the round progresses. Again, a heavy B main presence to just kick things off. And T1... Food there in a close position. This is a very annoying angle to deal with because it's not just a sheer angle where you want to look right more often than you want to look left, but it's elevated too, so it's very tricky.
Both teams went 9-3 on their defensive end, so T1 definitely favored here in this first round engagement. And it's a full gun round, so you have to be ready for everything. If you look at the setup from T1, there's no one up top of B. They're playing deep on site. That puts all kinds of pressure on eeiu here, and just staying alive is a victory in itself.
Yeah, this is perfect. And forcing them to have to drop or go down the ropes or do it together, which gives him an advantage in the fight. He's looking to commit here to get at least one more kill. And there's the double play into eeiu. Very well handled by eeiu. Good synchronization into that one, denying that extra kill that eeiu was looking for. But they don't have to commit off the back of this. They have the ability to reset. They've got 30 seconds. The rotation's being pulled around. T1 don't know what's happening. And back to B, eeiu go.
And this is the right idea because you look at that mini-map. A is covered in gear from Brax. Taking a look at the push, though, they are all stacked up top, and Food is going to wait for it, holding the angle. He finds the first headshot. A second there as mummAy misses wide right.
Boombo out as well around the pillar for Food, and crashies will hold things down for a kill. And Food's still alive. He's such a problem here. He seems like just an immovable force around that back B bomb site. Finesse trying to just draw out a push, and he will, but it's just too much to handle. And overtime is indefinite, so if these teams go 1 for 1 for 1 for 1 for 1, we're going to be here for a very long time.
I'll hang out with you all day, Dan. I'm ready. Our first cast together, we're getting an overtime game. I'm all about it. I rooted for eeiu in this match, or not rooted, I just predicted them. Did not expect T1 to be as good as they are on defense. Everyone's shining, especially this man. Food, so good on B, finds the first blood, finds his second, and then he closes out the round with his third kill. He's up to 22, tied there with crashies. On the other side, we've got a Raze to look out for as well. Kaboose at 20 and 15, having a much better day too.
I feel more worried for T1 because it felt like their attacking side was truly answerless, whereas eeiu, I felt like they did find some success, even though it was limited. Now, Food will get the opening onto Calypso. Calypso's been a nightmare just pushing into B main, but this time, finally, I think maybe for the first time, he's actually going to get caught off guard, and that's exactly the difference that T1 need to try to capitalize. But look at the double down. They're going to go for info, an info play here. Two players pushing. Food, he will look for it. He jumped up onto the tires, but they will take him down, evening things up to a 4 versus 4.
But this means you know A is weak, right? You just saw two players at B main. You have mid control. You can go for the A rush, knowing you will beat the defenders into position. But Finesse has been so strong on this A site all day long. Not just with the kills, but buying time for his teammates. And there he starts it off with the camera peek. Is going to be tagging AZK. And T1 slowing down, but definitely making their way into the A site. Spike is up top. This is a big kill for aKis if he can land it on the spike carrier. And down goes eeiu.
And as you say, a huge kill, but Brax is able to trade it. So more time is being bought, though, for the rotation to come in to help Finesse. He's at the back of the bomb site still. And this is really, really difficult right now. Time is of the essence. 20 seconds to get that spike planted as the trades come through. Heaven control is with them, but Finesse still has site control. And that's everything in this 1 versus 1. All the time pressure as they play ring around the Rosie. Finesse, he's been so perfect at this. He has such an eerie sense for this as he now just swings around the corner, times it perfectly. Finesse, how does he consistently manage to do this? I have no idea.
3 kills as everyone from T1 pushes in. He is able to punish. Finesse holding strong. His teammates fall, but he's able to clutch up in the 1v1, and the Cypher is going to celebrate a bit as they have just reset overtime. We're back to 13-13. As we will see them continue to go blow for blow. I love watching this. It's not just defensive plays, big plays out of the attackers that round as Food got it started, but it was that kill from aKis that gave everyone the info. Spike is definitely A. We can focus all of our attention here, and Finesse to close it out like this. Amazing stuff in the 1v2.
Yeah, it's so crazy how the advantages swung back and forth there and how it looked so good that Food would get at least one of those players making that information play in B main, trying to figure out exactly what T1 were doing on their attack, and then things even up. It's, what a great matchup we have so far here between these two teams. And as we go into the next round, once again, Envy on that attacking side. We'll have to see what they're able to do.
And Food, I don't think, has played here yet. We've seen Calypso do it for Envy, but not from T1.
Now the cam is set up opposite Food's position, so that's something that can draw a distraction, can draw their crosshairs so that Food gets the ability to shoot them and get at least 2 kills here. So we'll have to see how this dynamic plays up. There's the camera, gets the tag. They cannot kill the camera. It's in a really annoying position. And this whole setup is about Food and the camera.
If you're following along at home, we do have a small bug in the UI. Hopefully that'll be fixed in coming patches. Shout out to our observers, Prius and Sapphire, though, holding it down. As you can see, it is T1 on the defensive end. That's Brax on the Killjoy in the very back of the map. Meanwhile, the attackers Envy making their way forward with 45 seconds to go. eeiu in the power position, holding the right side here of ropes.
Yeah, he normally plays the other side, but he's been spotted doing that so many times. He switches it up, and Omen can do this because he can TP across. That's the reason why Omen is the guy that you have doing that job. So I love the small details here from them, and we get the reset into the A play. Envy felt like they couldn't really quite find an opening, and it's going to get even worse. Great shot from aZk. Beautiful flick connected. Doesn't even need to see his opponents, apparently, as aZk continues to decimate this push. And once again, T1 finds the lead. They keep, well, I say keep. It's early in the overtimes. Feel like we're going to be here for a while, Puckett.
Yes.
But they
striking first. I like it. They've also had defense first, but how can they win their attack? Food was critical to give them the info in the last attacking round where they nearly pulled it off at A. aZk on defense, though, as critical of his Jett yesterday. Today, much smoother after popping the shots. He is getting out of danger, and he was able to convert 3 kills with the sniper rifle. What's the attack plan, though, for T1? Here they come, and so will kaboose on the opposite end, comes flying forward with the double blastback boost.
I'm so sad that we've seen this setup now twice. I'm so sad we didn't get to see a kill from it just yet. mummAy, though, certainly will be able to make things work out towards the A ramp position, kills the lurker, and they know Food is stuck in that position, and they try to challenge for it. And it's not going well for T1 here, but they're 2 against 5 and trying to make their way up mid, and Finesse.
This is my first triple overtime, Dan. I'm not even sad, but maybe that won't happen as Brax and aZk find 2 kills right away, make it 3 in a row. What was a 5v2 is now a 2v2 with a full minute and a second on the clock. They're going to gather the spike, and this is anyone's game. T1 right back into it.
And in the attacking position, when it's a 2v2 like this and there's a minute to go, you're so favored because you can move together as 2, and it's too risky to make big information plays as a defender. So right now, the ball is well and truly in T1's court, and it's going to be up to Calypso, who's on the other end here, to just get a fortunate timing and to play this position correctly. He's in hell, so he's not super committed. Look at that off angle, though. It works out, but for a trade. He's done enough here to give himself a chance, but there is that Killjoy ult for Brax.
Yes, he just unlocked the ultimate with that kill. Remember, your ults are reset every single round. Not only that, he kept all of his gear. He had the double nano swarm. He has the alarm bot still.
Oh man, all he has to do is just wait to hear that defuse sound, then he can trigger the nano swarm and then also put down the ult at the same time. It's going to kill so much time.
It's amazing stuff. Here it goes. So you have to stop this. And will he be able to hit this shot in time? mummAy ignores it, goes for the kill, and he is going to wait it out. As it'll take 8 seconds to clear. mummAy, does he know? All right.
Oh my goodness.
Jumping on it, avoids the detain, and he is going to be able to get the defuse just in time. What is left? 4 seconds, actually. Plenty of time there for mummAy. Good attempt from brax, relying a little too much on the equipment, and great confidence from mummAy, who got an opening pick with the sniper to close it out.
Yeah, that's like brax definitely has to defend the ult, but there's so many different ways to play that. There's Killjoy. I feel like brax is going to be kicking himself there. I feel like he's going to think of all these other ways he could have played that spot. He relied on the off angle, the forward off angle.
Yep.
And it just didn't work out. And here we go, back at it again. Can T1 open things up with the lead as they have been throughout this overtime?
Everyone's taking turns being heroes in this game. There's not been just one performer. For T1, it was crashies. Then it was incredible stuff from Food. brax and aZK on their defense or attacking round. Now back on defense, it's aZK who finds first blood. And mummAy was dropped to very low health as well. So Envy quite weakened on their opening push at A.
Yeah, and T1 are playing 3 towards the A side of the map here. They're really relying on that Raze Cypher combo. We talked about that Cam and Raze setup previously, and they're running the same thing. It was really effective with how Envy are playing. And aZK, as they try to move forwards, his repositions, his aim is just so absolutely on point, and they have lost 2 players before they've gained too much ground. This is going to be so hard to recover from.
And we've seen aZK at this level in the past. It is so good to see him back on day 2. It was a very rough day 1 watching him transition. But now on the Jett, he looks very comfortable, at least here on split. Let's take a look, though, at what the attackers plan to do here for Envy. 30 seconds left, and that's a nice kill from Calypso, opening things up a bit over at B. But crashies is still lurking, and he's going to trade it out.
Oh, it looked like they actually thought that it was going to be a B play coming through. That actually forced aZK to move and get caught, and now look at how much space they've gained. aZK back at it again, though, and eeiu comes in the nick of time to take down Finesse. Almost a hiccup there, but it is remedied, and once again, T1 are playing into match point here on map 1 in this series. Can they close, though? ABC always be closing.
They've been so tight in their last attacking round. It's come down to some big 1v1s. Finesse with a clutch, mummAy with a clutch.
Oh, look at that. We're going to get a paranoia there, and it looks like Calypso might walk straight into it.
Oh, I think he will. The defender, of course, can back out way easier with less threat of being punished. But will the Jett get aggro? Will aZK charge into this to follow it up?
So it's a dark cover instead.
Food's going to tap, and he is going to hold.
Oh my god, I'm so so brave.
In the OT rounds, right?
Yeah.
So many ways to get punished in that scenario. He's playing for an ultimate potentially, and mummAy's going to find first blood again. The sniper holds true.
They take, oh wow, just straight through there. crashies, no trade frag spacing whatsoever. Maybe, I mean, we can see he's trying to catch a timing on the Sage there perhaps. But it doesn't work out, and the problem with that is that with no trade, they're now down in a 3 versus 5, and they're forced to go with the only positioning that they have, which is towards B Heaven. And historically in this matchup, Envy have been indomitable in this position, and aKis, he's got himself 2 kills.
Get him all.
And the nades and kaboose will finish it off. So T1, they are just looking so uninspired in their attacking rounds.
If I'm the coach, I'm going to make some new rules. Okay, we don't go for orbs in OT. We go for bomb plants. Early action was a bit risky. Your teammates are waiting for you to get into position. And again, mummAy, very aggressive, jumping on top of the Sage wall. They didn't predict it, as he has been very mobile, very much like aZK, moving around the map. Last time he was holding that A site to start. This time, the mid presence. What will Envy be able to do on their attacking round again? We're into the quad OT round here.
We actually have Food playing a little bit more aggressively towards B Heaven. We've seen him so far in overtime. They've relied on Food being the anchor on the B side, but instead it's going to be crashies there. So they are mixing up how they're playing this now, and that's an interesting point given the fact that MV are putting more emphasis towards the B main pressure currently. Again, we see these pressures early on, we see it always look the same, more or less, where it comes into that early pressure into the mid take, which then allows split possibilities. After you've guaranteed that you have either B main or the A ramp controlled, you take mid, and then you have options. And the question is what options are going to be chosen here by Envy.
Food forced back by the Paranoia, gives up a little room at the top, but Cage is going to be there, and Food will stay alive without taking any damage. Crashies, though, going to be flooded with players, and Food is going to jump back up there and chime in with a kill. A second now, as Crashies doesn't need to do it himself. Food is home, and there is a third kill for Food as Crashies closes out the fifth. That duo over at B has been such an issue for Envy all game long.
Yeah, crashies is absolutely supposed to lose that first duel. His crosshair placement is completely off because you're going to get swung on from rafters, which that's normally what you expect first.
Yep.
And then the low, and it can even be the double swing low ground too. And somehow he manages to get that kill. That really changes everything. It felt like Envy actually had a way better attack there, but well, here we go again. T1. Can they win an attacking round?
Will anyone win an attacking round?
Very good point, yeah.
This is the opportunity, but you got to get through mummAy. And you haven't been able to do it. Finesse, we've seen the spam in the past. He finds AZK again. Now mummAy using the tripwires from his teammate finds the second. Finesse finds a third, and this is a round over for T1 unless we have more heroics, this time from Food and Crashies. Okay.
That's so crazy. Crashies able to find a 2K. That resets it into a 2v2. How many of these have we seen? The Boombot there, the pressure screens, and that's going to buy some space for Food to actually be able to plant the spike, or maybe not. The Paranoid, they're trying to close down his position.
No way.
Oh, Calypso. He's taking him down, and finally, Crashies does it 17-15 after a long overtime. T1 finally find a way. They finally find a way to get it over the line, and they claim map.